Zotero website from which you can download their required software. The second link, this is образовательный проект Центра по работе с библиографией. This is the HSE department, and they have a lot of very useful materials. You can go to that site. There are a lot of instructions, so you can read not only about Zotero, you can find information how to work with Mendeley, BibTeX, and other reference managers. And there are some wonderful instructions here how to work with Zotero. So this is what? Yes, unfortunately that is in Russian. We apologize for that, but it is not possible to switch into English because there is no English interface. No, sorry for that. Okay, let me. So I see that this is too small. Okay, here you see some materials how to document Zotero. Here is the manual how to leave Zotero and how to use Zotero extension for Microsoft Word. And here is very useful manual how to start working with Zotero. There is also another one. And here is a manual how to use Zotero and cloud storage. I'll show you how to do that, but just in case, this is a really good instruction. Okay. Before start working with Zotero, that is obvious, but you need to install the software. There are several possibilities how to work with Zotero. The first one, that is a Zotero extension for Mozilla Firefox. To do that, you need to download Mozilla Firefox. First of all, then you need to download Zotero for Firefox, and after that you need to install Word Processor, that is a plugin for Microsoft Word, and one more important software, that is extension. It is called Zotfile. It led to work with cloud storage, this one. And it also led to read metadata from PDF files. Okay, I'll show you Zotero official website. So here is, you see the Zotero official website. Here you see Zotero for Firefox and plugin for Word or LibreOffice. And on the right you can download Zotero standalone version. This is the second option. You also can use it. Zotero standalone doesn't require to work with Firefox. You can work with Chrome, you can work with Safari or any other web browser. If you are going to use Zotero standalone, you don't need to install additional plugin for Word, because Zotero already includes plugin for Word or LibreOffice. I myself prefer to work with Zotero standalone. That's just my personal preference. But all stuff I'm going to show that is rather similar for Zotero for Firefox. There are no differences between Zotero for Firefox and Zotero standalone version. You can use either standalone, either Zotero for Firefox. So, questions? No? Okay. When we have downloaded Zotero for Firefox or Zotero standalone version, we need, of course, to specify our login. But before that is very important. I'm sorry, it's not convenient, unfortunately. Before that, you need to create a so-called Zotero account at Zotero official website. To do that, you need to go to the Zotero official website and register. The procedures are simple. You need to choose your username, your email, confirm your email, and then to confirm your password. Okay, if you already have a Zotero account, you can log in. So you see, I created a Zotero account. Here is my username and here is password. And now I can log into Zotero. So I choose my library. Here is the library I created. Now it has no references, it has no items, because I'm going to demonstrate how add items in the Zotero library. This is so-called web version of Zotero. It is also similar to your Zotero standalone version and to your Zotero Firefox version, because this is a result of synchronization between different software. That means that it doesn't matter where you are going to use Zotero, at home or at the office. You can get an access to your library from any place. It would be the same. You just need not to forget to turn off your desynchronization. So, if you have an account, we can go to our Zotero standalone version. I have already opened it. And we need to specify our login and our password for the Zotero standalone version. To do that, we need to use that option or that option. They are similar. Click that and then choose Preferences. So you can see that there are a lot of windows. You need to choose the sync window. Here you should print your username and your password. There are two options. Sync automatically, that means that synchronization starts when you open Zotero. Sometimes it is very convenient, but I have switched it off because I'm going to demonstrate different possibilities, and synchronization usually takes time. The second option, sync full text content. I have also disabled this option because I'm going to use a cloud storage. I'm not going to use a Zotero storage for my papers, for my books, and for any other stuff I'm going to use in Zotero. This is very important. So if you don't disable this option, that means that all your papers, full text papers, will be stored at Zotero web storage. It is limited. It has only 300 megabytes, so it's better not to use this option. It's better to use a cloud storage. That is a more convenient way to work with Zotero. Okay, is it clear so far? Okay, but before starting our demonstration, I would like to show how Zotero works, just to encourage you to work with Zotero. Zotero, this is a great tool to create your citations, to create bibliographies, references, and what is most important, Zotero lets you to change citation style in one click. So I'll show you how to do that. Here is an abstract from a paper. You see, seminal work of Banfield. Here is the citation. Postulates that blah blah blah. Here I'm going to use so-called Chicago style. So you see that my reference list was created using that style, and my citations were created using Chicago style. but I can change it in one click. To do that, I can use that option. I'll show you how to work with that a bit later. If I want to use, for instance, American Anthropological Association or American Psychological Association style, I just need to change it. And that's it. So you see that now I'm using a slightly different way of presenting my references. It is different. And the citations are also different. Now compared to the previous style, you see that here I'm using a comma after author surname. For instance, if I use ghost, that is also possible. Zotero reads ghost. You need to install it additionally, but that is also possible. I need to choose ghost. And that's it. This is ghost style. You see that now I'm using brackets and numbers, and my reference list has changed. So now you see here the ghost style. You see that is very easy. If you have 100 references in your paper, it saves time. So now I'm going to show how we can arrive here. So we already created the Zotero account and installed our software. Now we need to specify a cloud storage. There are different options. You can use Dropbox, you can use Google Drive, or you can use Yandex.Disk. I'm using Yandex.Disk. That is also my personal preference, because at Yandex.Disk I have 100 gigabytes for free. But yes, that is possible to get. So here you see the icon for my Yandex.Disk. I can click it, and here I see references. That is very important. This is the folder for Yandex.Disk. I called it dclouds. Zotero does not work properly with Russian style, with Russian letters. Don't use Russian letters, otherwise you will have problems. So please specify your path in English. That is the most convenient way. Now, I need to go back to Zotero and change my preferences in Zotero. To do that, I need a so-called Zot file extension. That is also possible to install a Zot file extension. Here you see that I have already installed it, Zot file preferences. I'm using Chrome, not Firefox, and in Chrome you need to install Zot file manually. So here you see my extensions for Microsoft Chrome, and here I have Zotero connected. For instance, if you want to install some extensions from Zotero, so you see, you just need to print Zotero in the search line, and then you need to choose Zotero Connect. I already have it in my Chrome, so I don't need to install it. So you see it here. Okay, let's go back to Zotero. Once again, to specify the path of my cloud storage, I need to use that option. Then go to Zot file preferences. So you can see Here is all file preferences. Here is the folder for Zotero, for Zotero styles and all other stuff. This is not a folder for your full text papers. So here I use Zotero. There is not a default folder. I specified it manually because if you don't do that, Zotero uses a Firefox folder. So it creates Firefox folder and Zotero stores all its stuff into that folder at C drive. This is a system drive, so if something wrong with your system, that means that your Zotero are not safe. You need to specify it at Z, yes, in my case, at Z drive. So in that way you can save your Zotero after your system falls down. So this is for Zotero styles, Zotero libraries, Zotero subfolders, and so on. This option for your cloud storage. So this is location of files, and you need to specify the path for your cloud storage. In my case, this is D clouds, and I created a folder for HSE library because I'm going to store all my files in that folder. After you do that, you need to press OK. Yes, and that's it. Now you can work with Zotero. Okay. There are several possibilities to organize your library. The first possibility, not to create folders. That means that you store all your items in the root folder, which is called library. For me, it is not convenient. I prefer create different folders for different papers. So you see here two folders. One is called Civic Engagement, and second one is called Trust. So you can also create a lot of folders, a lot of subfolders. That is totally up to you. Okay. What is also important, you can also create folders at your Z drive, at your D drive, that is the drive for your Zotero storage. I'll show you how I did that. This is my Yandex disk. So here it is called Yandex disk because that is for Windows, but in reality, so its real name Clouds. That is just Windows to name it. That doesn't matter. So this is my library. Here I created two folders. The first one is Civic Engagement and the second one is Trust. So you can create a lot of folders here, it is not necessary that your folder should be similar to your Zotero folders. That is not necessary to do that. But if you want, you can do that. What is important here, and I'll show it, by default, Zotero saves all full text papers in the root folder, not in subfolders. So if you want to keep your library organized into different folders, you need to attach file manually. That is very important. And now I'm going to show how to do that. Of course, to cite papers, first of all, you need to create a library. For persons who are not lazy, you can do it manually. There is a possibility. You need to choose that option. This is plus. You need to click it. There are several types of documents. Book section, document, journal article, newspaper article. Let's take a look at it. So here you choose the title of your article, the author, abstract, publication, volume, and so on and so forth. Actually, I don't use this option. I don't like it. Because Zotero can pick up items from different websites. First of all, Zotero automatically can pick up citations and items from so-called scientific databases. And the first database I'm going to show is Google Scholar. That is the most famous database. It's free of charge. You don't need to have a subscription. So this is an extension for Chrome. This is an extension which is called Google Scholar. But of course you can go to Google Scholar manually. That is also possible. Or you can use that option. The result is the same. Let's imagine that I want to add to my Trust subfolder the most cited paper on Trust. St. Petersburg, is everything clear? Andrei, do you have questions?
Мы внемлем.
Нет?
Нет.
Now you see the results.
Продолжай.
Okay, now you see the results. You can see a list of papers with keyword generalized trust. Actually, you can pick up all that papers into your Zotero library. How to do that? So here you can see a folder. This is an option saved to Zotero. You can click it, and ta-da! There are papers which Zotero found at that website, at Google Scholar. So you can choose all of them if you want. But I don't want to do that. I want to choose only the second paper. And then I click OK. Okay, let's go back to Zotero. Now you see the paper I've just picked up from Google Scholar, but you see it in my library, not in my folder Trust. I can remove from the library to the folder I want to store that. So now you see that it is in the Trust folder. But don't forget to delete it from library, because Zotero doesn't do it automatically. That is a kind of disadvantage of Zotero. And I also need to delete the item I created manually. Oh, sorry. But I can do it once again. Once again.
У нас есть вопрос.
Да.
Привет, я пользуюсь Zotero, и я, вот чтобы не копировать туда-сюда и не удалять, можно сразу загружать в нужную папку, если ее открыть.
Да, это правда. You can open the folder you want to. So you can open the folder and then you can pick up from Google Scholar to that folder. That is also possible. Яна, спасибо большое. Okay, now you see that in my Zotero library, and I have also a so-called snapshot. This is from site. This is a link to Springer.com. This is a link to the article. So you can keep it in your Zotero library or you can delete it, it's up to you. Because what we have here the link so that is the same information. Okay, this is the first option. You see, now I don't have a full text paper in my library. Zotero did not pick it up from Google Scholar. That's a pity. But it is also possible to pick that item from journal site. So you see determinants of generalized trust across country comparison. You can see here that option. You can click it and Zotero automatically picks it up in the library. Now you see this is the same paper, but now it has a link to my full text paper. Let's click right button and click show file. So you see that automatically Zotero stores all my full text papers in the root folder. For me, that is a problem, because when you have 1,000 or 2,000 papers, that is not so much convenient. Of course, you can use tags to organize your library, but it doesn't work for me. That is why I prefer using manual attachment to Zotero, so I can replace that paper in my trust folder. I can delete that. Okay. Move it to trash. And then I can manually attach that paper, attach link to file. Okay, once again. Now it's not working. Sorry for that. Okay. So I can choose the paper and attach it. Now it is attached to the Zotero library, and of course I can delete all duplicate items. I can do that manually. Okay, this is the first option. The second option, you can use Science Direct. So you see that there are a lot of papers with keyword generalized trust. I can use the same option I use for Google Scholar. I click it and I see a lot of papers. So I can choose anything I want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's up to you. For instance, gene dependence. And then click OK. Now it is saved at my Zotero library. Here you can see the paper. Let's take a look at it. Zotero again stores it at the root folder, and frankly speaking, I don't know how to solve this problem. For me, I usually use manual attachments. But if you don't want to use that, that is also okay. You can use text in Zotero and use that root folder. Okay. You can also use for picking up Amazon, Ozone, Google Books. That is totally up to you. That is possible to pick all that items from websites. Zotero can do that. But sometimes it happens that Zotero doesn't find a paper on Amazon or Google Scholar or something else. But you already have a PDF version of the paper. For instance, in my folder, Trust, I already have a paper of Nanestat, what we have learned about generalized trust, and I want to cite that paper. But I don't have it in my Zotero library. I can drag and drop that paper in my Zotero library. So you see that paper now, but first of all, to use it, we need to describe that paper. You can do it manually, but for lazy persons, Zotero can do it automatically. The option is retrieve metadata. Now it's done. So you see journal, the title, author, abstract, publication, volume, date, link to that article. The problem is, you see that Zotero attached not a link, but Zotero attached a full text paper. That means that now Zotero stores it at Zotero storage, but it takes space. So you can change it, first of all, by attaching it manually. I can use it. Or you can use the option Manage Attachments. You can rename attachments. Now it is renamed. But be very careful with that, because there is a problem. You remember that I already have that paper in my subfolder Trust. Now let's take a look. Show file. You see what has happened. Zotero removed that paper from my Trust folder to the root folder. So you see that. And now the link not from my Trust folder but from my root folder. I can delete that paper. And click once again. Now Zotero does not know where I store that paper. In that case, we should choose Locate and find the paper. The paper is still in the Trust folder. So now I can open it in PDF. I can rotate it. I can read it, I can highlight some citations, I can highlight some paragraphs, and so on and so forth. That is the second possibility. The third possibility to import citations from another reference manager or from Google Scholar. Let's go back to Google Scholar. For instance, the paper Determinants of Generalized Trust, we can use option Цитировать, that option. And Google Scholar can create different citation files. Refman, Refbooks. Frankly speaking, I don't remember. I think that is Refman. Yes, this is the RIS format. So now I have that file and I can import it in the Zotero file. Import. That is not in my library, but this citation is here. Yes, this is Zagrowski, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that inconvenience. Okay, I can show it in a slightly differently. I have a library which was created in my Zotero account, and let's imagine I want to import that library in my current Zotero account. I have it at my desktop, and this library is called values. This is RIS file, values, and I can open it. Okay, now I have that library in my Zotero. So you see that in library you want 153 items. You see that is very convenient. The only problem, there are no attachments here. So you can import your library, but you need to attach manually the files allowing to use that attachment. But let's imagine, for instance, you have 1,000 items, 1,000 papers. So you can easily import that papers in Zotero and use them. That is rather easy to do that. Okay, another option, I can use so-called group library. I can create it in Zotero, I can create a group, and then I can invite people in that group. Or maybe somebody else can invite you in a group library, and you can also use that group library. So to do that, you need to go to your web account, that is Zotero account. Here you see option groups. So there are two group libraries in my Zotero now. The first one, Trust HSE, that is a group I created. I can invite people in that group using group settings. Set it slow. Group settings, member settings. Here you see member invitations. Send more invitations. If you know emails, if you know Zotero names, you can invite members to that group, and then you can accept that invitation, and you are going to be the group member, and you can use group library. That is also possible here. Invite members. So I was invited to LCSR group library, that is the library we are trying to create at our laboratory. Here, LCSR library, group library. So you see here, staff personal libraries and staff publications. So you see here a part of my personal library, that is library on trust. It has a lot of folders, and I don't remember, but about 1,000 items. You see it here. And if we go back to Zotero standalone, we also can see that group library here. Once again, my library, and scroll down and see, here you can see group library. You can click it. So this is the same library, LCSR library, and that is Trust HSE. This is the second group library. Let's take a look at LCSR library, staff personal libraries. This is my personal library, and that is my Trust library. So I organized it in that way. Now you have your own library and you can use it while writing a paper. You can cite it. Do you have any questions? Okay, but sometimes you need to add citation styles. Yes?
I have one question about group library, because it's really important for group projects, for instance, collective projects. Do we have the access to items only or to full text?
I don't know how to use full text library. These are only items. That is possible. The only option to use full text papers in the library is to store papers at the Zotero server, which is limited. So when you use the Zotero server and then you store your papers there, that is possible to use group library. But if you use your personal cloud storage, I'm afraid that is impossible.
What if we use some common cloud storage? For instance, I don't know, some shared Yandex disk.
In that case, I think that is possible, but the problem is you need to specify the link for every item. The link to Yandex disk or to Google Drive. That is possible, but you need to attach links.
Okay, it's manually, right? Okay, thank you.
For instance, well, I can show how to do it, because every document you have at your Google Drive has a link, and you need to attach that link. That's it. I tried to find out how to use a full text library, but I'm afraid there are no other options. Either you are using Zotero storage, either you are attaching links to your cloud drive. So there is no options, I think, except these two options. Okay, can I go further? Yes. Okay, adding additional citation styles. By default, Zotero uses only foreign styles. It does not include ghost style. You need to add ghost style manually, unfortunately, but that is very easy to do. So to add additional citation style, you need to use actions, references.
Переключи на контент.
Это не мы делаем, контент должен делать чиновник.
Извините, пожалуйста, а вы не могли бы переключить на презентацию, потому что они не видят. Ага. Okay, once again. Action, references, cite, styles. There are different styles. You need to click Get Additional Styles. You need to search for both style. There are 3 different Go styles: numeric, regular, and numeric sorted alphabetically. You need to download all that styles. After that, you need to add styles at your Zotero. Let's go back to Zotero preferences. Click plus. So I already have Ghost and Ghost numeric. I need to add one. And the second one. Now I have, yes, so you can see Russian Ghost numeric and Russian Ghost Russian. So I have Russian Ghost styles, that is okay, I click OK. Okay. Now I can use my library in Word, in Microsoft Word. So to do that, I need to install a so-called plugin for Microsoft Word, but if you install Zotero standalone, that is enough. It automatically installs a plugin for Microsoft Word. But if it does not work, you can go back to your Zotero standalone, use preferences once again, and option side, word processors, reinstall Microsoft Word add-in, and then press OK. It creates tools, Zotero tools. This is option Zotero. There are several options: add edit citation, document preferences, insert bibliography, edit bibliography, refresh, and remove field quotes. Okay. First of all, let's go back to Chicago style. And I'm going to show how I created this. Seminal works of Banfield. I need a citation here. I use edit citation. And I need to print either the title of the paper or book, either the author's name. 2 options. Okay. Now Zotero found 2 options. The first one, that is a cited paper, a cited book, because I have already cited that in my abstract. It is possible to use that is okay. But Zotero also suggests to use a link from group library, that is LCSR library. See, the moral basis of backward society, Banfield, and the second paper, the same keyword, amoral, but I don't need that. I need to choose Banfield and press OK. So you see, now I'm using 2 works of Banfield, And that is why Zotero adds A. I can delete that one, and I can refresh. Now it is fixed. The problem is that Zotero uses the author's surname and the year. As I already mentioned that I'm talking about Benfield, I don't need his surname. I need to edit that citation. I need to click citation, then once again I need to choose edit citation, press it, double click. I can very quickly remove surname by pressing that option, suppress author, and then enter. But sometimes you need to add pages. That is also possible. The scheme is the same. Edit, double click, open in the library. It's thinking. I'm sorry for that. Okay, let's do that. The work of non-stat. I think it would be better because I have a work of non-stat in my library. Okay, I can use paper. Yes, this is the paper of non-stat. Zotero suggests to use LCSR library, but I should have it in my library. I can choose that citation. Yes, and I can edit it. I'm sorry. It doesn't want to do that. Yes, classic view. I can, once again, classic view, and I can specify a page number. So, it's easy. Now it has a page. I can also sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it is not. So that means that for that type of style, page is not necessary to mention. Okay. Now I'm going to delete this. So let's imagine that I have a written paper and I need to create a reference list. So I have all my citations here. To create a reference list, I have to use insert bibliography. And here it is. If you want to edit, for instance, if you see that there are some mistakes in the description, it is better to go back to Zotero and correct the description in Zotero. You can also edit your bibliography in Word, but that is not a very good option. I would like to delete this one. So now you see that the book of Bantu, the description has been changed, but it is better to change it in Zotero itself, not here, not in Microsoft Word. If you change the item in Zotero, and you know it, you can press a refresh button just to save your changes. That button, remove field codes. I know that some journals don't want to accept papers that give hyperlinks, papers which contain such kind of fields as fields from Zotero. You can use remove field codes, but you can use it and you have your final version. So my advice to create a copy the Zotero links, because if you remove field codes, you won't be able to refresh. So now there is no connection with your Zotero library. See?
So what the remove field codes option does is like it takes out the hyperlinks out of the bibliography?
Yeah. It does not delete the items from your Zotero library, but you cannot change your citation. This is not a citation. I can try it. I can try to add.
Okay, yeah.
You see, this is not a citation. Because Zotero is currently trying to create a new citation. This is the old one. See, this is a plain text. I cannot edit it. He is trying to find the citation, now it's empty. So don't use it if you don't want to lose all your citations, and if you don't want to create manually your bibliography. Always keep a copy of a file with the hyperlinks. Okay. Frankly speaking, that is all I was going to demonstrate. If you have questions, please ask, because there are a lot of issues and maybe I just forget to mention something.
Would you mind like saving, like you mentioned the Google Scholar extension, which is there like for both Chrome and
Yes.
Firefox? Would you mind saving a paper with that, because I was trying it here and it didn't work in my case? Like how you save it? Like I know how to save it, but it gave me the option to save it with like when you open Google Scholar, like in a completely separate tab.
That means that you don't have a Zotero extension in your Chrome. You need to install Zotero extension in Chrome. It is called Zotero Connector. I'll show it. Let's go to Google Chrome. Preferences. You have ads on. You need to have that one enabled.
And what would be that in case of Firefox? Same?
For Firefox, yes, this is not, I can show it in Firefox, but first let me close my library and Zotero standalone. Yes, this is Firefox. It is in English. It already has a Zotero connector and Zotero plugin for Microsoft Word. But that is also possible to install it manually. You need to use search option. See? Google Scholar citation, Zotero Quick Look, so there are a lot of options. Or, I'm not sure, but I think that it's also possible to install it from the file.
I did that from the website, but like I don't know how to use like that with the extension, like the Google Scholar extension that you have. Or maybe
I don't know how to use a Google extension in Firefox. I know how to use it in Chrome because I'm a Chrome user, but I think that is also possible. Yeah, I think that is also possible to find that extension for Firefox. Let's try. Yes, Google Scholar button, that's it. You need to install that. Accept and install. Yes, and now close and open.
Maybe the next one, which is down.
Close tabs. I think that we need to.
You can do it in Chrome, like that. It'll be,
Yes. Oh, you mean how? Yeah.
yeah, because I didn't find the option like to save any paper from the Google Scholar extension that you have there.
Yes.
So that if I'm working on something, I don't have
Yes,
to
I
open a
can
separate
press that,
tab.
but that is just a tool for searching papers.
So you cannot save it from there to
No.
Zotero.
To save papers, to pick up items to Zotero, you need to go to Google Scholar.
Okay, so it has to be in the tab. Okay.
Yes.
I was confused about that.
No. This is just for convenience. If you need to very quickly to find something, so for instance, trust. No, you can just click and go to the site.
Yeah, then from the tab you can pick it up.
So, genomic sequence comparison. That's easy. Yes, the last thing I forgot to mention, how to use tags and how to use notes in Zotero. So this is also a very convenient tool. Let's go back to Zotero. That is easy. Here you see so-called tags. These tags were automatically saved by Zotero, but you can create tags manually. For instance, you see a gene-dependent planetary economic dependence. Let's imagine that I'm going to use a tag. This is tag option. By default, this paper already contains several tags. But if you want to add a new tag, you need to press Add and specify it. Trust. Now you see the tag trust, which is attached to the paper. What is convenient to so text? This is a way of searching papers. If you want to find papers containing a keyword trust, you can just click the tag trust. That one. There are two papers, a gene-dependent and determinants of generalized trust. And this tag, I have just created. They are seen when you see that. So this tag is attached to 3 papers. I can also use search. This option, all field in text. I can use titles, I can use authors. For instance, I would like to find you see, that means that in my folder trust, I don't have papers with key words starting with ban. But I can go to my library, you see that, and I can try again.
Keywords or tag, or this is the same?
This is keywords. This is
Keywords that were given in the paper?
no. That is so. This is an option for manual search. These are not text, so you can print anything you like. For instance, I would like to find papers written by Kristen Welton. I have only one paper. No, there are no tags attached to the paper, unfortunately. So that paper I can find manually. But let's imagine that we have a tag with Welton. I can add such a tag. So Welton. You can click the tag. So let's go back. So these are options for finding tags. Wurzel. So you see that tag now. Wurzel here. This is a search line, and Wurzel here. This is a tag itself. Once again, the paper containing tag Wurzel. I can switch it off. I can switch it on by clicking that tag. Maybe that is not so convenient to use that text for papers, but it is extremely convenient to use such text for notes. Let's imagine that I would like to use a lot of citations in my paper. For instance, the work of Nanestad, that is a very famous one, and it contains a highly cited sentence at the end of the paper. Here is that one. The question of trust is a huge puzzle that is not even near solution. So this sentence has been cited in many works. That is extremely popular. But let's imagine that I would like to use the same citation in my paper. I can copy that from my PDF document, and I can go back to Zotero, and I can attach that note to the paper of Nanestad. And for instance, I can use a textbook citation. Separate window, that's better. Text. Add. Good citation. Okay, now this note has a tag good citation. Let's close it. Let's go back to my library. There are a lot of papers here. Let's try to find that note using a tag search. Okay, so you see now that tag. I can click that. And this is the paper which has the note, the tag good citation. So you can organize your citation. Here you also can, just not to forget, the page number. You can put it in the citation. Let's imagine that is page number. Let's go back. I can stitch that tag. And I see that I'm going to cite a paper by Nanestad, and I'm going to use the citation, the sentence on the page 456. I can create a lot of notes. I can pick a lot of citations from my PDF documents. Not only from PDF, from Word documents, from books, and whatever you want. You can attach pictures, you can attach videos, everything you want. But if you attach a tag, that is easy to find such a note using a tag. That is impossible to find a note if you are not using a tag. So you can find a paper using that field. But this is not about tags. This is about paper tiles, it's about authors, but not about your citations, not about your notes. So you see that is extremely convenient way of organizing your library and organizing your scientific inquiry. That is really convenient. Okay, I have shown notes, tags. So I think that now that's it. Question?
В Петербурге вопросов нет.
Москва? Okay, let me remind that there is a very good instruction how to use Zotero at HSE site. You can use that, and You can write me an email if you have questions. But it's very easy to work with Zotero. Okay, thank you very much for coming. Then see you next time.
Thank you.